Hello again, and welcome back to Kids Bible Stories. Today's story is called God Answers the Five Sisters. This comes from Numbers chapter 27, verses 1 through 11. Today, we meet the 5 daughters of Zelophehad. Whew, that's a tough name to say. Do you have sisters? Some of you may. Well, these remarkable sisters faced a challenge that seemed insurmountable, impossible. Their father had passed away without a son, which meant they'd be left without an inheritance, without receiving the land that their father was to get. They'd get nothing.
What?
But did they sit quietly and give up? Well, let's jump into today's story and find out. We begin our story here. In the heat of the desert, under a vast sky, where the sun beats down upon golden sands, the Israelite camp sprawled into a maze of tents. God called Moses to lead these Israelites out of Egypt, where they were slaves under Pharaoh. Remember the plagues?
Yes.
Yes, well, all of that happened. They passed through the parted Red Sea and were headed to the promised land God was giving them. This is why we find them in the desert right now. Morning had come, and the camp began to come to life. The animals stirring and the murmur of voices as the day's chores began. The 5 daughters of Zelophehad were Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. These women were tidying up their campsite. I imagine them discussing what they were to do.
With Father gone, what are we going to do, Milcah?
Tirzah asked anxiously. Her sister, Milcah, took a deep breath and responded, "Well, God has a plan. He sees us and loves us. God promised Father a part of the promised land, so we will ask him for help." You see, according to the customs of the time, if there was no son to inherit this, their name would vanish from among his tribe. Their father's legacy forgotten in the sands of the desert. But his daughters believed God to be faithful and to hear their prayers for help. They believed in a different future, one where a father's legacy could live on through his daughters, just as it could through his sons. With determined hearts, they prepared to make their plea. Listeners, remember, this had never been done. Women did not typically step forward in the assembly to speak on matters of law and inheritance. Yet, driven by their conviction, they approached Moses and the assembled leaders, standing before the revered tent of meeting. It was a bold move, one that drew the eyes of the entire camp. Listeners, do you think it was easy or hard for them to speak up?
I bet it was hard standing up in front of all of those people.
Let's listen in. The 5 sisters stood together. "Moses, leader chosen by God, hear our plea," Mahlah began, her voice steady despite the pounding of her heart. "Our father died in the wilderness, yet he was not among those who rebelled against the Lord. He died for his own sin, leaving no sons to carry on his name," she continued, her sisters standing beside her, a united front of determination and faith. Why should our father's name disappear from his clan because he has no son? Please, give us property among our father's relatives. Let not his name be forgotten in Israel." Their words hung in the air. It was a challenge to long-held traditions, a plea for justice, not just for themselves, but for all the daughters of Israel. The assembly murmured. The idea of such a change, both intriguing and unsettling. Moses, uncertain what to do in this situation, turned to God for guidance. And the Lord's response, it was clear. It echoed through the ages as a testament to his justice. The Lord said,
"What the daughters of Zelophehad are saying is right."
Came the divine decree.
"You must certainly give them property as an inheritance among their father's relatives."
And so, a new law was established, a divine ordinance that would ensure that the names of fathers without sons would not be lost to history, but would live on through their daughters. The impact of this decision rippled through the community, sparking discussions around campfires, in tents, and during the day's labors. The bravery of the sisters, their faith in God's justice, became a reminder of hope and a symbol of change. That day, as the sun set over the Israelite camp, casting long shadows and bathing the desert in a warm golden light, we bet that the story of what happened to Mala, Noah, Hagla, Milcah, and Tirzah was already being retold. Well, that is it for our story today. But before we go, let's think about what we just heard. Shout out loud, how many sisters were there?
5.
Yes. And at first, did the law say that they could inherit their father's land?
No.
That's right. Did these courageous sisters stand up for what they thought was right?
Yes.
Yes. And God is so, so good, because what did he say when Moses asked him for help?
Give them the land.
Yes. He shook up traditions and cultures and showed the value of women. Remember, in the New Testament, when Jesus came, he spoke to the women, cared for them, he held the children, loved them, and protected them. You need to understand, this had never been done before. Culture saw women and children as less than, not important, or having rights and value. But God changed all of that. It also reminds us that God values justice, that he listens to those who call out to him, and that he empowers us to be agents of change in the world. So let us take inspiration from the 5 sisters. Look around your own world to see things that shouldn't be, and however big or small, know that you too have the power to make a difference. Whether it's standing up for someone who's being treated unlovingly, speaking out when you see something wrong, or simply being loving in your actions every day, you are capable of reflecting the goodness and justice of God to others. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have a coloring page, a parent application letter, and a fun activity sheet for today's episode. You can get this by going to kbspodcast.com and clicking the bonus content. Check out any of these tiers that we have completely free for 7 days. And thank you for those of you who have been spreading the word about Kids Bible Stories podcast to your family members, at church, your friends. Thank you for writing reviews and sharing this on social media. Most podcasts are found and grow because of others sharing it from word of mouth, so we cannot say thank you enough. As of today's date, we have over 11 million downloads. God is doing something incredible, and we appreciate that you are playing a part in it. So thank you again. And, as always, bye for now.